Good evening, everyone. Welcome. First meeting I'd like to call to order tonight is Lawrenceburg Board of Works meeting for July 7th, 2025.
We have a public hearing at 6.
Yeah, I was going to call the meeting for the order first, but we can.
Well, I don't know how you, my only thing is at 6 o'clock, so however you want to do it.
We do that over to council first.
Do council first?
Is that okay, Your Honor?
You mean Board of Works first?
Will we do city council?
Oh, I got you,
If
yeah.
that's okay.
That's right, it's under
Because
city
the
council.
advertisement said 6.
Yeah, let's do the, let's just go ahead and do the,
Public hearing.
Public
Then we can just go back to the board.
yeah. A public hearing was advertised for tonight to be at 6 o'clock, so I don't want to prolong that. But this is in regards to the amendment to the sewer utility rate. We have already had the first reading. Tonight was going to be the public hearing and potential adoption.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. So we would open now the public hearing. The sewer amendment and the ordinance was introduced at our last city council meeting and published in the newspaper. That ordinance has also been on file with the clerk treasurer. That ordinance was also sent out to the residents in the unincorporated areas. I guess in general, this proposed rate ordinance will remove language from the industrial customer, wholesale customer, BOD and TSS surcharge that we were told by our rate company was a typographical error that they made when they drafted our current rate. So we're removing that 400 milligrams per liter threshold, and now all suspended solids and BODs will be subject to that surcharge for the industrial and wholesale customers. So it doesn't affect residential customers in any way, and members of the public are welcome to comment at this time.
If you have a comment, come to the podium and state your name and.
Thank you. My name is Mike Templin. I work as the Director of U.S. Distillery Operations for MGP Ingredients. We have 3 distilleries in the U.S., 1 here in Lawrenceburg and then 2 in Kentucky. So I work with all 3 of those distilleries. And I've worked here in Lawrenceburg for the last 17 years. But I'm here to talk about the proposed rate increase as it impacts the wholesale rate, and of which MGP, as my understanding, is the only impacted company for this proposed change in the rate increase. But this what is being proposed is a very significant increase from what we're currently paying for our wastewater treatment. Looking at data from year to date, and I have an example of a bill from earlier this year in April. But currently, the way that the system works is that our flow from the distillery, we have a direct pipeline that goes all the way to the sewer district, and it's just strictly the distillery's effluent. And then the district bills LMU for our portion of the flow based on flow and loadings, and then LMU passes along a bill to the distillery for its use. So we pay LMU, and LMU is billed from the sewer district. But presently, looking at the data from 2025 under the current rate structure, we're paying in excess of the bill that comes from the district, a roughly $11,000 premium over top of that, which is roughly a 12% profit margin from the cost of what it takes to process what the sewer district charges. And the significance of this bill by modifying the language to include all loadings would increase our bill by $50,000 per month. So that would be $600,000 per year, which obviously has our attention in that matter. Making that increase would increase the profit margins of LMU for just our effluent from like the 12% range up to 63%. And at the same time, we're also in communication with LMU. The ownership of the pipeline, the infrastructure, is the distillery is being told that it's our exclusive maintenance expectation to maintain that pipe. So it's, none of the assets are tied to the LMU, or the overhead associated with maintaining any of that asset. So that price increase up to 63% is very significant. Our business with the distillery, admittedly, we're not having a great year. The industry's down. We are struggling. Our stock price, for instance, its peak in 2023, the stock price is down 75% currently from what it was in its peak of 2023. The industry as a whole is down, but we're being impacted by that significantly. You know, I've been there for 17 years. I'd say MGP's ownership since 2012. When we have a shutdown, our typical shutdown's like 1 week long, and right now we're in a shutdown period, but instead of 1 week, it's 4 weeks long, and we have 2 of these 4-week shutdowns. So that just kind of shows the significance of, you know, our stock price being down, but our distillery is being hit very significantly by a downturn. So, you know, this is a very costly endeavor, costly expense, and it also comes at a bad time for the distillery because of the state that our business is in. And so for that, we ask the council if you would not pass the ordinance today, or at least hold off on passing the ordinance so we could have further discussions with the district about the impact of our effluent and what an appropriate cost would be for the services that are provided.
Quick question for you. So I heard you say that your stock prices are down. How much of that do you think is tied to the closing of Atchison?
My job as a director of U.S. Distillery, when I started, had 4 distillery operations, one of which was in Atchison, the distillery in Atchison. They have two different manufacturing operations. One's an ingredients plant, the other's a distillery. And the distillery out there was losing money. They don't compete in the whiskey industry. They compete only in the vodka industry. And the vodka industry has a very high supply, as does the whiskey industry, but the margins in whiskey are better. And so
Sorry, have you pulled, so obviously you're doing your homework, and I appreciate that. Have you pulled what the residential rates are for our residents here?
I believe the residential rates are $5.21.
And the reason why I ask that is if you look at
Per
what
thousand.
MGP pays versus what our residents pay, obviously you guys get the wholesale pricing, you guys get a significant discount. If we took apples to apples and you guys were paying the exact same rate as our residents, your bill would be $600,000 a month, right? That's the math that I've looked up and that I've calculated.
No, we were, up until 2025, we were paying the same as the residential rate at the 521, but under the residential rate, there's not a BOD surcharge or a BOD charge at all. It's just a flat volumetric rate. And so that would have, when we were paying those rates, we were paying higher than we were, but it's under the wholesale rate now, the volumetric rate dropped, but we're adding in a BOD surcharge. And so we were saving a bit of money from that modification. But when we met on that change, one of the feedback that we had gotten was that the ownership of the pipeline between the distillery and the district was to be passed on to the distillery exclusively. So if you back up, when we first became a customer of the district of the LMU,
Because you guys used to be involved at the South Dearborn Sewer District, correct?
we were a direct customer. And so when we were no longer a direct customer and became a customer of LMU's, LMU had told us at the time that maintenance and the infrastructure will be maintained by the district. And so when you fast forward to the wholesale rate that started in 2025, it was also communicated that the pipeline maintenance would get transferred over to the distillery. So yes, we did get a lower volumetric rate. We went up with a BOD surcharge, and we also went up with risk of the pipeline from that change. And now under the proposed change would take the BOD up even higher and also keep the pipeline maintenance and risk associated with any kind of failure of that infrastructure would keep that on the distillery's hands.
Yeah, I'm not an accountant, but if the math that I did is correct, you guys pay, it looks roughly like 25 cents on the dollar of what a resident pays comparably. That's the math that I did. I could be wrong. Obviously, we would have to do our homework too, but that's the math that I did.
The wholesale rate is $3.18 per 1,000 gallons, and the residential rate is $5.21 per thousand. But again, the residential rate doesn't include any BOD impact, and the 318, which is more than 50% of that cost, does include a BOD surcharge. So we are being hit by a surcharge, and I have a copy of a bill if you guys would like. I could walk through it if you'd like a copy of a recent bill.
I have a copy, but if you guys would like.
I'm not, I'm fine, I'm fine. I have a few things here. First of all, you talk about ownership of the line.
Yeah.
You have two lines, sanitary sewer and clean stream.
Yes, correct.
I think in negotiations, and I wasn't involved in them, when you spoke with Buzz and Billy, it was the fact of taking the clean stream line back over. Why Lawrenceburg ever took that on as ownership, I have no idea. But the point of the matter here is, you are a customer LMU, right? But when you send your loadings to the sewer district, when they do their magic, and it's below that, we end up paying that difference because you're below that threshold. So we're averaging, I don't know, $45,000 a month, we're losing, if my math's right. So, but again, you are our customer, and the sewer district's billing us for what you guys put in below that 400. So we're losing money.
So the sewer district does charge for every pound of BOD at 42 cents, but the sewer district's cost per thousand is like $1. Let me grab it. The cost per thousand for the sewer district is $1.34. So last year we were paying $5.21, so it was a much increase, but no impact on the BOD. And on average, the LMU was making a profit on our flow, counting what LMU was paying for our BOD, but then us paying the $5.21 straight on a volumetric. The average profit that Lawrenceburg was making was $43,000 per month. When you switch to the new structure, under the current structure with a lower wholesale rate, but add on the BOD surcharge, we were paying a premium on average of 2025 data of $11,000 more than what LMU was being billed. So under all this, averaging all the months year to date that we have data from, LMU made $11,000 per month from having the distillery as a customer already. And so then this proposed change would take that $11,000 profit up by 50, and it would essentially make that a $60,000 per month charge, which the $50,000 increase, relates to $600,000 per year is the significant impact to the distillery.
What were the utility rates at Atchison or other similar plants that you guys currently?
Atchison has its own wastewater treatment plant, so they treat their own water and then they discharge it out to the sewer district. So
What
it's
about the Kentucky plants?
I don't know that offhand. I could pull that information. I don't have that.
The only reason why I ask is, look, I know our utility rates are super low. We're the third lowest in the state of Indiana, and we're in the red in certain areas, and it's partially because of this, right?
That's where the distillery would dispute, because if you're making $11,000 profit on the distillery's effluent, if the operation's operating in the red, it's not a result of the distillery's contributing to profitability for the.
Are we
for the
making
district.
$11,000 profit, or are we losing $45,000? I'm hearing both sides. I don't.
You're speaking $11,000 profit is the clean stream, correct?
It's the dirty stream effluent, looking at the dirty stream effluent only. I'm only looking at the sanitary
You're
stream,
only
the
looking at
dirty
sanitary,
stream.
nothing with clean stream.
Yeah, because there's nothing changing on the clean, my understanding, the proposed ordinance only impacts the dirty stream. And so my analysis is only looking at the dirty stream.
One of the reasons too that was put in there, because when the city took you guys over, there was nothing in our sewer rate ordinance pertaining to what you paid for BOD loading and anything like that. That's the reason I understood, that's why we put that in there. But also, when we did so, it was the understanding we would give you wholesale rate at your clean stream that goes to the lift station, and if this agreement passed, is the way I understood it.
The clean stream cost is very low, like 4 cents per thousand or something. Because it doesn't get treated, it doesn't apply
Right, I
the
understand
treatment
that.
cost.
I
It's just the
understand.
electric for the lift pump.
And they, from what I understand from our previous director, we, instead of charging you the normal price for that clean stream, he went with the wholesale so we could offset this, and you guys start paying something on the BOD and the TSS.
I don't think that has been a change to the clean stream costing. It's been consistent for the last couple of years, and that there has not been, this new ordinance doesn't impact the costing structure of the clean stream whatsoever. And the cost associated with our flow is being paid. It's being passed forward, and we're paying that plus an administrative fee. So the district is certainly not upside down by any means on the clean stream flow.
Right.
And they're also not upside down on the dirty stream. They're on average making $11,000 profit per month on ours, just by having us as a customer. And again, the infrastructure, as it's been communicated, is completely ours. So there's no maintenance costs or anything associated with the city for our pipeline. It's only passing a bill. So they get a bill, they hand it to us, and they take $11,000. That's the way it's currently set up. And the new setup is they get a bill, they hand us a bill, and it costs $60,000 a month now instead of 11. So it increases by roughly 50.
Now, before this, then we didn't bill them. They got billed straight from the sewer district?
When they were a customer of the sewer district.
Why would you want to be a customer of LMU if you guys were getting?
This is something they did back in 2017.
We wanted to stay a direct customer of the district. There was a lawsuit that the distillery filed to remain a customer. We thought we had a right to remain a customer, but we did not win that, and so we ended up being removed as a customer of the districts. But I mean, as a customer of Lawrenceburg, I mean, like I said, it making $11,000 a month on us, and we were content with that. It's just the price increase, taking that up $50,000 per month or $600,000 per year. That's the one that's hard for us. A hard pill to
That's what I'm
swallow.
having a hard time understanding. Are we making $11,000 a month, or are we losing $45,000
As
a
a
month?
whole, we're losing $45,000. He's saying we're
That we
making
could have.
$11,000 a month directly from the.
From just our
saying
piece.
overall.
On the clean stream.
He's saying just from
So
the.
we get billed from the
Get
sewer
billed
district,
Every BOD pound.
every BOD, so yeah, we're not making 11,000, then our residents are paying up to 45,000.
That's what I was talking about.
We're making 11,000 off you, but our residents are paying $45,000 because of the VOD.
And nobody's paying it right now. Because we've been the red.
No, I got that.
I mean, we're paying
Got that.
our share for our stream is what
You're
we're.
paying your share,
Plus-
but our residents are paying a share too.
Sure.
So I've got that clear now.
Any other questions for Mr. Templin? Thanks, Mike.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience want to speak in the public hearing? If not, we'll close the public hearing at 6:18.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Now I'd like to open up the City of Lawrenceburg Board of Works meeting for July 7th, 2025 with a roll call, Mr. Petty.
Board Member Tom Rep.
Present.
We got Board Member Brett Bonder absent. We got City Attorney Dale Wilson.
Here.
President Kellen Lamont.
Here? Okay. Tommy, I have no announcements for this particular meeting.
I have none either, Mayor.
If- Okay, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved, Mayor.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The first item, new business, you see there under the speed tables. I would entertain a motion to table that tonight.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
I'll second your motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The other one is Chief Snyder. We got personnel I think it's updates or something.
Yes, sir.
Swearing in tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor. If it pleases the Board of Works, I'm here to discuss 7 months in now since we went to the 12-hour shifts, personnel and appointments for supervision on said shifts. Just keeping everybody in the loop. We would like to appoint Brian Potts as a lieutenant on day shift. He would cover one of the day shift sides. Josh Bauer appointed a lieutenant on night shift. He would cover the other night shift side. Garrett Schmaltz went to detective back in late December. He's been doing a great job. I'd like to go ahead and make that official, appoint him to detective. which we haven't done. He's been doing that job, but we've seen enough good work and enough closed cases out of him that he's really an asset there to the investigations team. Daniel Rosengard will drop back, fill in for, if you remember Officer Jump, he was the liaison with the SROs at the school. They need a point of contact for the prosecutor's office and everybody else. It seems to be seamless, so he would be a sergeant, school liaison. Greg Cannon came back to day shift, filling Officer Markland, who's temporarily, well, I mean, he's coming up on his retirement, so Greg Cannon reverted out of seniority back to day shift. I already had a day shift lieutenant in place, so Greg Cannon wants to revert back to his last held rank, which would be K-9 sergeant. An update while we're talking about the K-9s is Greg Cannon's K-9 Siri and Troy Cochran's K-9 Kilo will be retiring at the end of this year, 2025. I recommend that they remain with their handlers in their retirement. We do have a plan to go with a second K-9 with Greg Cannon. Troy Cochran, after 10 years, 12 years, is not, he's not interested in training up another dog. Right now, we don't have a plan to train a third K-9, just to be transparent with you all. And it suits us pretty good because we now have a K-9 on days and nights with the 12-hour shift the way it works. So we have a day shift K-9 available to day shift and a night shift K-9 available to night shift. So that'd be a save of some expenditure as far as kennel care, feeding, and so on and so forth. But, you know, I'd also like you all to entertain what most departments do. And I know we're not most departments, but the kind of the model in the state is that as long as that K-9 officer is still living, although he's retired, the city does maintain the food, which is not a very high cost, and any future vet bills, which vet bills are all donated. If something were to arise, I mean, you know, they're getting older, so something's going to arise, but I'm not saying we're going to have no emergency surgeries or anything like that, but just keep that in mind.
So Greg and Troy's dogs are both retiring at the end of the year?
The end of 25, yes.
And then Greg's gonna have a new dog?
Then we would start doing then we would solicit one of the training facilities. I don't know who Greg uses, to be honest with you, Von Lick, I think, or I don't know. Right off the
There's
top
a
of my
new
head.
one around, isn't there?
There's a couple, and there's some really good dogs. I don't know, I know you guys know this, our K-9 team is, the 3 K-9s we have here is some of the best K-9s not in the state. That's been proven time and time again in the country. We have the #1 patrol K-9, and Luke Gentry's dog won it nationwide, and Greg with a second, and Troy with a third. I mean, it's just, and that's going up against NYPD, that's going up against LAPD. I mean, we really, really have a good K-9 program here. I'm really proud of the K-9 program here, and those officers take it very, very seriously. But that's not a job, that's a calling, to drive around with a dog and care for a dog and all that stuff. But we're lucky to have them. The citizens of Lawrenceburg are lucky to have them. I just don't know that because of what I just said, it's a calling, it's not just a job. I just don't know that that third handler fit is quite there yet. You know, we have some younger officers and stuff, some people that showed some interest, but it takes a certain kind of officer to do that full time.
And Troy's ready to step down.
He's done it a long while,
Being a
Mayor.
K-9.
Yeah, he's done a long while. He's on his second K-9, so he's been there a long time.
How old is Officer Gentry's dog? You have any idea?
Good point.
5.
5.
So that dog's
So we're
still
good
got
there for
a lot of pep in it. Yeah, a lot of service
What
time.
age are these other 2 dogs?
10.
10?
10, and, you know, that's about,
Okay.
you get into a decade, and that's about where they start retiring them.
Any questions,
I have none now.
Tommy, for,
I appreciate the update.
Yeah, thank
I
you,
didn't
Tom.
write it all down like I wanted to, but I'm sure
I got a
can figure
copy
it out.
for you.
I'd just entertain a motion, though, to approve the personnel updates as recorded by Chief Snyder.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
So basically, you'll give me those adjustments. I know that's gonna be adjustments to the salary.
Correct.
Hopefully.
Yeah, for 2.
You may have to make some adjustments.
For
and
2 of them, yeah.
For 2.
Additional, you know, if there was adjustments there, because I had it to what I had at the beginning of the year, so,
Correct.
just knowing that you're gonna make some adjustments to the salaries, it's gonna be brought for you with an additional appropriation.
Okay, all right.
The appropriation's not all that.
No, it's not gonna be much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
But he's got to still, you know,
I
But
understand.
I have these in line.
He's doing that
items.
clerk
Basically,
treasurer thing again.
Yeah, I know.
He does a good job at that too, though.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'll second that motion. Tommy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I have no other new business nor any old business for Board of Works. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mayor.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next meeting, like total order tonight, is the Utility Board for July 7th, 2025. Roll call, Mr. Petty.
Board Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board Member Dylan Little.
Present.
Board Member Tommy Roulette.
Present.
Board Member Lenny Fryman.
Here.
We got Board Member Brett Bodnar absent. We got City Attorney Dale Weldon. Here. And President Kelly Malone.
Here.
Myself.
Okay, I have no announcements for Utility Board tonight, unless you all have something you want to add. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, we got Mr. Webster's topic is the LMU digger truck repair. And a repair it is.
In 2011, our digger truck took a hit of high voltage, so we now are seeing our truck is failing the preventive maintenance and the dielectric testing. To repair the boom completely, which is everything inside our boom, the cylinders, the gaskets, everything, is $154,339. That's the company who does our testing to repair that. I spoke with T-Rex today. They won't give me a quote on repairing the truck. They have to tear it apart to see what's wrong with it, then give me a quote, but they said they would come in. It would be cheaper than the $154,000 because they can't see everything in the boom needing replaced. And that's why the quote that Dirtwise gave us was $154 because he didn't tear into the truck. So that was with everything inside the boom being bad.
That's like a new boom.
Yep, basically a new boom. A brand new truck, this truck is 21 years old. A brand new truck is about $400,000. I would like to repair this truck and not buy a new truck.
How many miles you got on this truck?
The truck has 15,710 miles and 3,635 hours.
Okay.
So there's plenty of life left.
It's a 2009.
2004.
Four.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
But T-Rex did say they would be able to come in under that 154 because they don't see everything in the boom needing replaced. They said they've never had to replace everything in the boom after a high voltage shock. But they can't tell us that without tearing into the boom. And to do that, we would have to take it to Cleveland. I would like to take it to T-Rex and let them repair it.
How many quotes? So I know that you said T-Rex and then the company that you would normally work with. Are those the only two that you reached out to? The only reason I ask is typically if it's over 150,000, we typically.
There's only one ANSI certified in the state, and that's Dirtwise.
Okay.
And the other would be Terex, is the manufacturer of the truck.
Okay.
Because you got to be ANSI certified to tear into the booms.
So it's almost sole source, so to speak.
Yep.
So would you drive that?
Yeah, we would have to drive it up there, drop it off. They would tear it apart. There would be cost to that, but that cost would go into the repair of the truck. But they can't give us the total repair cost until they tear the boom apart. But they do believe it would come in under the 154.
Okay. That comes out of electric.
Yes. And I spoke with Mark and Hunter, and they both said either route you guys wanted to do, we were good in the capital for that.
Well, I would entertain a motion that we go with what you stated and go with T-Rex then.
That's what I prefer, is to take it back to the manufacturer, let them tear into it and repair what needs to be repaired and not just repair everything.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, the motion on the floor then is to take it back to T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yep.
Up in Cleveland and have them take the boom apart, only repair what needs to be repaired.
Yep.
Because then we can pass the testing.
They'll dielectric test
The
it.
problem is right now is we don't pass the test.
Yeah. Right now, it's taken out of service.
Commission.
The company took it out of commission.
So then, Dylan, you're seconding
I
that?
also think, if Tommy's okay with it, that we add a do not exceed of 150,000. That way we can make sure
Good
that.
point,
Okay.
good point.
Not to exceed number. Yep. So the motion on the floor is to take it back to T-Rex at a not to exceed number of $150,000. Once they get it apart, they'll be able to give us a price?
Yep.
Okay.
Could you get back with us on that when they do that?
Will do.
Thank you.
We had an incident with our roll-off where they thought they was gonna need an engine, ended up being a compressor, and that was nice.
Yeah.
11,000.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, sir.
Crystal, we got the 120 water contact tract for lead and copper mandate.
Yes, thank you. I'm revisiting the contract that was presented to you by Garrett. I believe it was last month or last meeting, I can't remember. It came in around $10,000, I believe, and Garrett and I met and talked and thought that that was more than what we needed them to provide service to us. I think you have a copy of it now. It's a $3,500?
49.
49, I'm sorry, he didn't give me the copy. So Garrett and I did meet again. We discussed the cost that it would be associated with the testing that we will have to do for the lead and copper mandate, and calculating that and having the safety net for the website that we have to maintain to stay within compliance, and having the safety net and making sure that we don't miss any dates. We felt like the number that they came back with was fair, and we were just asking for approval to move forward with that contract.
Kudos to you and Garrett for getting that number down.
Yeah.
It was like 12 grand originally. So.
Yeah, we were like, it just doesn't seem feasible for what we needed. So they were willing to work with us, and it worked out well. So with your approval, we'd like to move forward with approving that contract.
I'll make
Any other
that.
questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion on the floor is to approve the 120 water contract for the lead and copper mandate. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thanks, Crystal. Okay, fellas, I don't have any additional new business nor old business for utility. If anybody not got anything to add, I entertain a motion to review the claims for board approval.
So move.
Second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then a motion to approve all payroll reports and checks once properly certified.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn this meeting. Second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to call to order the City of Lawrenceburg City Council meeting for July 7th, 2025. If everyone could rise for the pledge, please. One more time, Mr. Fetty.
Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Dylan Little.
Here.
Councilperson Tom Roulette. Councilperson Lenny Fryman. We got Councilperson Rep. Under absent. We got City Attorney Dale Willem.
Here.
Mayor Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, announcements, board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs downtown, Mr. Abbott.
They're a mess, but they're getting fixed.
Yeah, they are. Streets, alleys, and curbs up on the hill there, Mr. Fryman.
I'm good, thank you.
Finance Department, no report. Parks and playgrounds, Mr. Little.
Parks have been busy, but slowing down with the heat lately.
Yeah. Heat. And Fire Department, Mr. Roulette.
No report, but Mayor, I would like to report under announcements that the historical marker signs are in place.
Good.
The two on the levee and the new one in Newtown Park, so if you guys get a chance, they look real good.
Good deal. Okay, thanks
And
for
that's
taking the
with the
lead on that.
Whitewater Canal one being back in its place.
Yeah.
When it was MIA for a while.
Thanks for taking the lead on that.
Not a problem, Mayor.
Did you tell them oh, okay.
Excuse me?
Tell 'em the boat sold?
Boat? Yeah, he sent that to all of us in an email, yeah.
What happened?
The boat,
Oh, yeah, sold.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
for a pretty good price, I thought.
Yeah, it did. I think we had a minimum bid of what, 5,000?
Yeah, and it was like 10.7 or something,
Yeah.
I think, so I got, in his email that he sent us today.
Okay. I'd like to give you an update on a couple things. Obviously, we've applied for those tax credits about the last 4 years for our senior housing. I think we agreed that this will be the last time we apply. That'll be getting submitted. We should hear in November. Then I think we probably ought to look at if we're going to go forward with a project for senior housing, contacting developers and going that route. It's just, going to be more money that the city puts in, but it's obviously a need within the city. So, but I just wanted to let you know that those tax credits are being submitted. We'll hear in November, and then we probably, hopefully we get good news, but if we don't, we need to come up with our Plan B game plan. So, one other thing, I was given permission by the family to do this, but wanted to let you know, not if everyone doesn't know, Dennis Carr is in the hospital. Went through open heart surgery. My last report I had gotten was that it went as well as it could, and he's on the road to recovery, but it's going to be I don't want to say a long road, but I'm sure he'll whip it. But just wanted to let people know that. I hadn't seen Dennis around, and I had asked his son-in-law at our picnic last week, and I think the following day he was having the surgery. So.
I went up to see him the day before, and
How's he doing?
he was in good spirits,
Was he?
Dennis is good as he can
Yeah.
be. He was up there, bullheaded, but man, he's in good spirits.
Got a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, prayers and thoughts need to go out to Dennis Carr, and I know Mary Ann and their daughter and family would appreciate it as well. I have no other announcements tonight. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So move.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes from a work session on June the 17th.
So move, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. Y'all seen the donation committee recommendations in your packet? Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 4-H sponsorship. This is a $10,000 sponsorship. It coincides with the Speedway race that they were receiving any of the profits from. My understanding is they were going to receive any profits over what the track expenses incurred, and part of that is obviously utilities, and a big part of turning on the lights at the track and for any race that's a big piece of any of their expenses. My assumption, and the only way we can do this is through a sponsorship for 4-H, and it'll be up to 4-H to work out a deal with the Speedway and their promoter.
Okay, how did we derive to the $10,000 mark?
That's approximately what utilities run among.
So we're paying the monthly bill for,
Because there was only one, I believe, one race this month, or last month. They had 2 rainouts and
okay, I did get some paperwork, and it did show that there was not much activity other than the 21st.
yeah. Oh, on the printout there?
Yeah, I actually went and seen Crystal today.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out how we're coming up with a dollar amount. So we're basically saying we're going to pay the $10,000 or so for the electric bill for the whole month, but it's going to be for 4-H themselves more so.
Well, we are saying that we are doing a sponsorship to 4-H. What 4-H,
Sponsorship.
whatever, what 4-H wants to do with that money is up to 4-H.
Can we do that, I guess?
That's the only way I can see we can do it. Don't you agree?
So they would still pay the utility bill.
Oh, yeah.
But just
Yeah.
basically, this is just a
Yeah,
donation or subsidy agreement with 4-H.
yeah, but the check from Lawrenceburg, like any sponsorship, would be from Lawrenceburg to the nonprofit. So, and that was for the proceeds of 4-H race. Got a motion?
I got one question. The 10,000 you say is how much the light bill is. Is that for one race or 4 races that month?
They were rained out, so.
Yeah,
I know,
there's only one
I know,
race.
but
There's only one
the
race.
normal billing, is that for 4 races or 1?
Each time the
It's
lights.
10,000.
Yeah, you turn those lights on that month,
Yeah.
it's 10,000.
All right, I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. One thing I got in the mail today, this is our yearly for Special Olympics on the fire truck pole. Their request for their $2,500 sponsorship. And then we are actually the, what do you call it, presenting sponsor, which we are every year. So this is your yearly letter that Mr. Townsend sends out asking for our sponsorship. So I wanted to go ahead. It didn't make it on tonight's agenda because it came in just today, but can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I have no other new business. Under old business, we had a public hearing tonight. The amendment to the sewer utility rates would be the second reading and a potential adoption. And that is, let me find that ordinance. Ordinance number,
4, wasn't it?
4, it's still 4.
4.
yeah, let me have that. Okay, it would be, this is the second reading with a vote and potential adoption of ordinance number 2025-4. This is amending ordinance 2024-11 and amending the rates and charges for sewage works utility services to be collected from users of the city's sewage works utility system. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And along with that, I would like
Motion
to,
carries first. What'd you say?
I said, along with that, I would like to, for us to get, set up a meeting with Ross and Squibb to kind of get everything settled on both sides.
We can do that.
I want them happy and us happy.
Good point.
We can do that. All right. I have no other old business.
Mayor, I have something for the old business.
What you got?
Speaking with Patricia Wells, they would like to get something from the city soon on whether we will, and correct me if I'm wrong, help with snow removal, but also take over the streets as well, correct?
Yeah, should I walk up?
If you would,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead. Yeah, please.
My initial request was I asked the city to take over our roads, our streets, and any and all help, whether it's snow removal or salting the hills, anything at all that could financially help us, because it is a large expense to us, would be very grateful. And we would appreciate the city to consider any and all of, any help at all. I'd love for you to take over the roads, but understand there's concerns. I get it. So we'd be thrilled if even salting and snow pushing. And I did have the opportunity to have both Tom and Dylan come up, and we drove around the community. One of the concerns was, if we push snow, where do we push it? It's not really a concern. We have a place. It's not, that's not a concern. So, you know, and in most cases, we only see 3 or 4 inches. Right now, our declaration says anything over 2 inches, we push. So, you know, sometimes you don't have a lot, but we would very much appreciate if the city would consider helping us.
Had looked at that yet?
Yes.
I'd like to hear his recommendation on what we can do.
Well, I don't want to speak for him, but we can we can have him come and talk to you about it.
Okay.
What I was entertaining here is maybe by the second meeting here in July, if not the first in August, because naturally Mr. Bondurant's not here, we could give them an answer.
Let's push for the second in August. I may have I had to push the
that's correct.
LCD's request to the second meeting in August. There's a chance I may be out on that Monday, in that procedure, so I just didn't want to push something in.
So maybe by the first meeting in August?
August 4th.
Okay.
So in the first meeting of August?
August 4th.
We can make it later. I enjoy seeing the ladies sitting here every meeting.
Well, just because we get an answer doesn't mean we're going to quit comment.
All right.
Actually, it's kind of interesting here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll ask Brad to be here to give a recommendation. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. Comments from the audience? Yes, ma'am? Come up to the podium, please.
Hi, my name's Lisa Barker. I own the property at 525 Walnut Street, and I've, since Mr. Todd is not in charge of maintenance anymore, I've just noticed that the redevelopment area next to me is lacking maintenance, and I don't know who to contact to get that done anymore.
Code enforcement. But we can,
We own it.
we don't.
You said, who owns it?
It's redevelopment property. It's between my property and Mike Knowles, and it's not getting mowed anymore. There's Johnson grass growing up. It looks terrible. It belongs to the city. I guess we could mow it, but
Redevelopment
Yeah.
representative?
thank you.
No, I'll get our guys on it,
Is that
Lisa.
the property towards Todd Creek? It's on your side of the road, so to speak?
Yeah, it's on our
On
side,
that-
yeah, but it's just,
But you look
Towards-
down over the hill,
towards
and that's where
50.
Todd Creek,
yeah.
I know what she's talking about, yeah.
Thanks, Lisa.
Orkin's gonna straighten us out.
Any other comments?
I just have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to know how the pavilion's coming along.
Oh, it's coming.
Okay.
We have,
Are we
we're on schedule.
still on schedule?
They did have a little bit of a hiccup a couple weeks ago when we had that big wind and excessive heat that week. I guess the week I was on vacation. They had 21 trusses get twisted. So
That's
those,
why I asked, the roof looks fine.
well, they are, yeah. Obviously the roofer is liable for that. But the trusses are coming in this week and should be installed next week. But they still have been able to go forward. They got all the block laid. They got a lot of the boards put on and the rest of the roof. But,
Well, that's why I asked. It looked like
Oh,
maybe
okay.
they started at both ends and then they didn't meet right in the middle.
yeah, that's the reason. It's sort of
It
hot.
kinda
Looks
sucks.
hodgepodge, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Sorry, about I should have made a comment about that. Yep, yeah. But they're on schedule.
Okay.
So. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am?
I just wanted to see if you would mention this.
Oh, we've got the Whiskey City Challenge bike race coming up on the 19th, along with Sippin' and Pickin', which is a combination event. It's going to have some bluegrass music and a whiskey taste testing over at Liberty Theater that night. So, yeah, we've got the rack cards out. We've got all the marketing going on it. We're trying to make the bike race a little more of a...
It should be more interesting because, excuse me, I lost my voice. Roads are all tore up, so that'll be real nice.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't fall into crevices.
I didn't even think about that.
They're the ones that like it.
I hope they're done by then.
They will be.
When is the race, the 19th?
19,
Yeah.
yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
like
they've,
close.
Austin's been on them, making sure that they know they have to be completed and cleaned up. So,
They got a lot of work to do.
yeah, yeah,
A lot of cars to wash.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Anyone else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it, Mayor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve all payroll reports and checks once properly certified.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
I think it was Dylan. Second.
I think it was me.
Seconds Lenny. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.